You would think after at least 9 of these, I would be desensitized to this franchise. Fuck me. You would be wrong. Resident Evil 9 does not rely on cheap jump scares. It relies on erosion. Slow, persistent, mental erosion. This game doesn't want you to be comfortable. It wants you to be alert. Every hallway is just slightly too narrow. Every corner is just slightly too dark. Every room looks like it was designed by an architect who hates mental stability. You enter a space. Nothing happens. You go on about your day. Still nothing. You relax. That was your first mistake.
Oh, fuck off.
The horror here isn't volume. It's anticipation. The game stretches silence like it's charging interest on your anxiety. Nice ass. It weaponizes sound design in a way that feels medically irresponsible. Distant metal scraping. Wet footsteps. Breathing that may or may not be yours. Sometimes, nothing chases you, which is worse, because now you're chasing the fear yourself.
Holy fuck.
And the safe rooms? Oh, they're still here. Which is good, because this is the only place in the game where nothing is actively trying to ruin your life. So naturally, I started gambling, because if I'm going down, I'd like to lose money first. Priorities. The safe rooms feel less like sanctuaries and more like temporary ceasefires. You don't feel safe. You feel postponed. And that's the key difference. Resident Evil 9 doesn't just overwhelm you with chaos. It withholds relief. It denies rhythm. It denies predictability. It denies peace. You are not navigating a map. You are navigating anticipation. And that's where the psychological violence begins. Because when the game finally decides to pull the trigger, it's not surprising, it's earned. And you were already exhausted before it even happened. The next section is targeted psychological warfare. Because when you play as Grace, the game stops being atmospheric and starts being personal. Grace doesn't control any situation, she survives them. And that was my last bullet. Fuck me. And the game understands this, so instead of throwing armies at you, it assigns you specialists. Let's begin with the singer. You don't see her at first, you hear her. And that is significantly worse. Her singing loops. Soft, distant, just close enough to raise your heart rate. And she doesn't stop. Not when you hide, not when you crouch, not when you pray. She only stops singing when you physically leave the area, which means your anxiety now has a soundtrack. And navigating around her is an exercise in stress management, because you can't just fight normally. If you deal with the nearby zombies first, she sees you, she screams. If you deal with her first, she screams. Every zombie in the local zip code clocks in for work. So either way, you're fucked. Just for this gun. They're fucking blocking my path. Give me the fuck up. Push him. I can't push him. Push him. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm fucking stuck. Holy fuck! This is a fuckfest! You are not solving encounters. You are choosing consequences. Now take a look at this chunky hallway cryptid. Visually horrifying. Emotionally damp. Built like a fucking bag of milk, but mechanically manageable.
Hello?
He roams tight corridors at the speed of mild inconvenience. You can outrun him, but you cannot ignore him. Because he's waiting for you to make a bad decision. And at some point, you will. So naturally, I stockpiled resources. I optimized my routes. I carefully crafted 3 hemolytic injectors just to watch him violently reorganize himself from the inside out. Was this necessary? No. Was it personal? Also no. It was preventative maintenance. And then there's the girl. The game's most persistent reminder that you're fucked. You see her in the basement. You see her in the water treatment plant. You see her when you least emotionally need it. She doesn't just stalk you. She lingers. And she keeps fucking coming back. And unlike the others, she doesn't feel like an obstacle. She feels like unfinished business. And the worst part? You can't permanently deal with her most of the game. She terrorizes your ass across multiple locations. The only time you can actually kill her is in the water treatment plant. And by that point, it doesn't feel like victory. It feels like relief. Grace's sections are not hard because they're unfair. They're hard because they're suffocating. The singer attacks your ears. The chubby kid controls your routes. The girl attacks your sense of permanence. And through all of it, Grace isn't a power fantasy. She's a nervous system on legs. Which is exactly why this works. Because when the game wants to be psychologically violent, it doesn't raise the volume. It raises your pulse. If Grace is an anxiety simulator, Leon is stimulus overload with a handgun. Where Grace tiptoes, Leon kicks the door in. Where Grace hides, Leon files a noise complaint with a shotgun. He starts as a bright-eyed police officer who shows up to his first shift and accidentally clocks in to the zombie apocalypse. Instead of quitting like a sane person, he survives, develops perfect hair under apocalyptic humidity, and somehow gets promoted into being the US government's designated go deal with that horrifying bioweapon situation guy. Over time, Leon evolves from nervous rookie to a one-liner dispensing super agent who roundhouse kicks monsters with the torque of a ballerina. He is equal parts traumatized, emotionally unavailable, and devastatingly attractive. Which is unfortunate for me. Leon has been my wife's crush since high school, and now she plays exclusively as him. I have seen the way she looks at him. It's not gameplay. It's commitment. Sometimes, I just watch him get eaten alive. Not because I'm bad at the game, but because I'm petty. Yeah, alright, so where were we? Oh yeah. Leon is the war criminal portion of the game. Explosions, roundhouse kicks, government funding, I think. And somewhere in the middle of all this chaos, Leon makes a promise. He tells himself, again, that he'll never let those around him die. Which is noble. Inspirational even. When you're in trouble, he will be there for you. Oh shit. Okay, technically, he was there. That's the thing about Leon. He has the firepower. He has the training. He has the trauma resume. But control? Control is conditional. And then the game does something unreasonably petty. It resurrects Mr. X.
You've been difficult to schedule.
What?
We've had multiple missed appointments.
I don't remember booking.
You ran.
Yeah, that's kind of my whole...
Unprofessional.
Okay, listen.
Performance review. Somebody's going on a pip.
I work for the government.
We'll continue this discussion later.
I sure hope I don't see that fucking guy again.
Got somewhere to be?
Oh, for the love.
Get in here, pussy. We're making America great again.
Fuck me. Ow.
How long has it fucking been?
We have escalated from menacing footsteps to ballistic inconvenience. And suddenly, Leon's unfinished psychological business comes crawling back. This isn't just another boss fight. This is closure. Explosive, rocket-propelled closure. And when it ends, it doesn't feel triumphant. It feels overdue. And then the game moves on like nothing happened. And what it moves on to feels familiar. Enter Hunk, the legendary Umbrella operative. He's introduced like a myth. Silent, armored, unstoppable. The kind of soldier that doesn't walk in a room. The room adjusts around him. And then he runs at you. And immediately discovers he is not the main character. And that's when I realized something. The game doesn't really introduce characters. It just declares them briefly and moves on. Zeno. Mysterious, calm, possibly connected to Albert Wesker. Moves like a contingency plan. Speaks like he knows the script. Which makes his abrupt death at the hands of Victor even funnier. Because Zeno was never the real threat. He was atmosphere. Victor was the one who couldn't be fucked with. He orchestrates. He doesn't use brute force. I lied. He believes in evolution through suffering.
Chaos.
Which is unfortunate because Leon specializes in suffering reduction via ammunition. And their final confrontation isn't just physical, it's ideological. Resident Evil 9 teaches you a rule and then quietly deletes it. You learn stealth. Then it forces confrontation.
Hi, what's going on, buddy?
You learn combat dominance. Then it narrows the hallway and turns the lights off. You get a safe room, but you don't feel safe. And that's what makes Resident Evil 9 psychologically violent. Not the monsters, not the explosions, not even the chainsaw nurse incident. It's the refusal to let you plateau. It doesn't want you comfortable. It wants you alert. And it never apologizes for it. Resident Evil 9 is genuinely a good game. A genuinely stressful one. It doesn't rely on cheap shock or constant escalation. It relies on pressure. Sustained, deliberate, and constant. Everything in it feels designed to keep you slightly off balance, never fully comfortable, never fully safe. And it works. Because by the end of it, you're not really thinking about what happened in the story. You're just thinking about how long it took for things to stop happening. And I'm convinced at this point, Leon Kennedy is not allowed to retire. Like, genuinely. They're gonna have my boy clearing outbreaks in Resident Evil 27.